Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're well. So firstly, thanks to everyone for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. You know, with having a family and juggling work and life, it's difficult to find the time to create these videos, but I love Arsenal. I love talking about Arsenal. I love connecting with Arsenal fans, and I'm really passionate about this. So I really appreciate all the support. It would be nice to hear from you guys, so you can comment in the comments and just say hello. So what do you think about today's match? It's finally arrived. And, you know, in one way, I'm actually glad that we are facing Liverpool this early on than having to wait. And I think, especially with how fragile they are at the back, I think this is the ideal time to smash them, to be honest, because you know, they could go and strengthen their defense. They can go and buy Isak and strengthen their forward line. And if we beat them now, you will still get Liverpool fans saying, oh, you only beat us because we didn't sign quality defenders. But then they will always make excuses. But the most important thing is just to get the points on the board. And I think it's smart to field a really strong team. So this is why I'm quite disappointed that we don't have Saka, potentially Odegaard. So it's quite disappointing. But the fact that we've strengthened so much in the team, it's really exciting. You don't have that feeling of like, oh shit, that it's we have another injury and oh no, not again. So this way, you know, we have that potential to do some damage, you know. And just looking at the team sheets here, I think Eze coming in, he has to start straight away just to make that impact. And I'm very confident of him going straight in because he's been playing in the Premier League for a while. He has that experience. He's had a pre-season. He's already played some games. The only concern is how quickly can he adapt to Arteta's game plan. And also you have Salah, who, you know, is aging a bit, but he's still one of the best players of all time in the Premier League. You know, the stats speak for themselves. So the fact that he is there as a threat, it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal play, because Eze is going to want to naturally come in and be a playmaker, and there will be emphasis on Calafiori to overlap and to give that width on that side. But when he gives that width, they will leave acres of space for Salah to run into. And here on this team sheet, if you leave Merino covering that space, I don't know about you, but I don't really feel confident. I think Merino is a capable central midfielder. Yes, as a striker as well, with those striking instincts. I think that he doesn't have that turning circle and the agility to keep up with Salah. So I think that Calafiori will have to be quite conservative in choosing when to bomb upfield. So it'll be interesting to see if that limits how creative Eze can be, if Eze has to hold that width more. Madueke on the other side covering for Saka. You know, I think Madueke did a decent job when he went onto that side in the last game, and he showed that he has that pace. You know, he's a tricky player, he's a tricky winger, so he can cause Kirkez some real problems. So, you know, with Liverpool's aging defense and Konate dreaming of Real Madrid, I think this is a perfect time to attack. It potentially is a perfect time to attack, but then because we have to think about, you know, you don't want to lose this game. You know, you don't want to drop points. So if you go gung-ho, if you really go for it and it backfires, then it's going to kill morale. So I think Arteta is going to set up quite conservatively. He's going to allow Liverpool onto them and look for quick counters using Madueke's pace. It'll be interesting to see how Gyökeres does against Konate and Van Dijk. I think he struggled a bit against De Ligt in the Man United game. So it'll be interesting to see, and it would be lovely to see him body Van Dijk and for him to get his just desserts. But yeah, I think even Gyökeres going out wide, running into that space is something that we can explore. And even Marino pushing in to the centre with Rice covering that space, because I'd be a lot more comfortable with Rice in that space if he has to cover Salah. So, Liverpool, they've started off decently in terms of attack. It's nice to see that Wirtz hasn't gelled with the team yet, even though they've spent so much money, but they haven't had that backlash. For example, if Arsenal has signed a player for that amount and he wasn't performing at the highest level, you would see this in the press, you would see this in social media. So it's nice at the moment that the forward line isn't gelling that much. So this is a time for Arsenal to really play conservatively, I think, to absorb that pressure and then just hit them on the break. So I think this is a really important game. I can personally see this being a 2-0. I think Eze and Gyökeres are going to light it up personally. Hopefully, I think they have that potential to gel together just the way that Eze gelled with Mateta. And I think Eze is going to cause Liverpool a lot of problems with his creativity, his bravery. I think he's going to invite players onto him. From a Liverpool standpoint, I think they'd be looking at doubling on him. So this will create space for other players. And I can even see Rice or Zubimendi being the spare man to get on the end of a cross or a cutback. We also have, the threat of corners and set pieces. And I think Madueke would be brilliant at winning us corners with his directness. Another option is to put Martinelli in place of Eze and Eze to drop back into midfield or more as a number 10. I think Martinelli always does well against Liverpool, and the fact that he can track back as well, this may be the perfect game to start with Martinelli to really give us that solidity at the back, and then push forward, maybe bring on Madueke in the second half when he's fresh to really run at the fullbacks. But I really think Eze must start. I have no problems, I have no qualms with him starting. If we have a look at the injury list, so you can see that Arsenal are quite stacked, and with Jesus coming back, I think this is only a good thing. So let me know, what do you think the score will be today? I'm going for a 2-0. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.